भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं माधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। यस्याखिलामि बहवी सुमङ्गले वाचो विमिश्रा गुणकर्मजन्मभिः प्राणन्ति शुम्भन्ति पुनन्ति वै जगात् यास्तद्विरक्ता शवशोभनामताः। नाम श्रेष्ठम् अनुमपि शचिपुत्रमत्र स्वरूपं रूपं तस्याग्रजं मुरुपुरीं माथुरीं गोष्ठवातीं राधाकुण्डं गिरिवरं राधिका माधवाशां प्राप्तो यस्य प्रतितकृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां सहस्रचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। We're reading from Canto 4, text, sorry, chapter 30, text 9. 9 till 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 verses. Okay. Okay. योऽनुस्मरति सन्ध्यायां युष्मान् अनुदिनं नर तस्य भ्रातृष्वात्मसाम्यं तथा भूतेषु सौहृदम्। योऽनुस्मरति
सुम
सन्ध्यायां युष्मान् अनुदिनं नर तस्य भ्रातृष्वात्मसाम्यं तथा भूतेषु सौहृदम्। योऽनुस्मरति सन्ध्यायां युष्मान् ननुदिनं नर तस्य भ्रातृष्वात्मसाम्यं तथा भूतेषु सौहृदम्. Yes, someone can read the translation. Report.
Sumangala Mataji, you can read the translation.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Dandat pranams Prabhuji. Dandat pranams to all Matajis and Prabhujis. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord continued, those who remember you every evening of every day will become friendly with their brothers and with all other living entities. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Excellent. Okay. No purport. We'll go to the next one. We'll complete all of these 4. ये तु मां रुद्रगीतेन सायं प्रातः समाहिताः स्तुवन्त्यहं कामवरान् दास्ये प्रज्ञां च शोभनाम्. Yes, someone can read.
Sureshwari Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandatam. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Those who will offer me the prayers composed by Lord Shiva, both in the morning and in the evening, will be given benedictions by me. In this way, they can both fulfill their desires and attain good intelligence. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shobha Mataji, you can read the purport.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam, Matajis and Prabhujis, perfect by His Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Good intelligence means going back home, back to Godhead. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Sloka 10.10. Tesham sadata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. One who offers prayers to the Lord to fulfill his different desires must know that the highest perfectional fulfillment of desire is to go back home, back to Godhead. In this verse, it is indicated that those who remember the activities of the Praketas, the son of King Parchina Barhisat, will be delivered and blessed. So, what to speak of the sons of King Prachina Barhisat, who are directly connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead? This is the way of the Parampara system. If we follow the acharyas, we attain the same benefits as other predecessors. If one follows the decisions of Arjuna, he should be considered to be directly hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no difference between hearing Bhagavad Gita directly from the Supreme Lord and following a personality like Arjuna, who formerly heard Bhagavad Gita directly from the Lord. Sometimes foolish people argue that since Krishna is not present at the moment, one cannot take direct instructions from him. Such foolish people do not know that there is no difference between directly hearing Bhagavad Gita and reading it as long as one accepts Bhagavad Gita as it is spoken by the
If one wants to understand Bhagavad Gita by his imperfect interpretations, one cannot possibly understand the mysteric of Bhagavad Gita, even though one may be a great scholar according to mundane estimation. Hari Bol Dandavat Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Read the text 11. Yadyuyam piduradesham agrahishta mudanvitah अथवा उशति कीर्तिर लोकान अनुभविष्यति. Yes, someone.
Sharmila Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji.
Sure,
And
Mataji.
Swati Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Because you have with pleasure accepted within your hearts the order of your father and have executed those orders very faithfully, your attractive qualities will be celebrated all over the world. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hello.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Since every living is a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has small independence. Sometimes unintelligent man asks why one is put into miserable condition even though everyone is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of this minute independence, the living entity can obey or disobey the orders of the Supreme Lord. If obeys the Supreme Lord orders, he becomes happy. If he does not, he becomes unhappy. Therefore, the living entity creates his own happiness or unhappiness. The Supreme Lord does not enforce these on anyone. The Supreme Lord praised the Prachetas because they are faithfully obeyed the orders of their father. The Lord therefore blessed the sons of King Prachina Barhishit because they obeyed their father's orders. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we will do the last one, which is verse number 12. Bhavita vishrutah putro navamo brahmano gunaiः य एताम् आत्मवीर्येण त्रिलोक्यं पूरयिष्यति. Yes, someone?
Yeah, Kusumlata Mataji, you can read the translation, and Shant Prabhuji, you can read the purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. You will have a nice son who will be in no way inferior to Lord Brahma. Consequently, he will be very famous all over the universe, and the sons and grandsons generated by him will fill the three worlds. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Purport?
Hare Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. As explained in the next verse, the Prachetas, one second. As explained in the next verse, the Prachetas will marry the daughter of great sage Kandu. It is suggested that the son's name will be Vishrutha, and that he will glorify both his father and mother because of his good character. In fact, he would be greater than Lord Brahma. The great politician Chanakya said, if there is a good tree within a garden or forest, its flowers will fill the forest with their fragrance. Similarly, a good son within a family makes the whole family famous all over the world. Krishna took birth in the family of the Yadus, and consequently, the Yadu dynasty is famous all over the world. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. All right, very interesting. Okay. Verse number 9. यो अनुस्मरति संध्यायां युष्मान् अनुदिनं नर तस्य भ्रातृष्वात्मसाम्यं तथा भूतेषु सौहृदम्. The Lord said, those who remember you every evening, that is the Prachetas, anybody who remembers the Prachetas every evening of every day, will become very friendly with their brothers and with all other living entities. So this is the benediction the Lord gives them. Even before they could ask for any benediction, this was a bonus benediction which the Lord gave the Prachetas. The most beautiful verse is the previous verse where, the Lord said, Varam vrinidvam bhadram yo yuyam me nripanandana sauhardena pratak dharmas tushtoham sauhrdena. So, varam vrinidvam, ask for any benediction. That's what, Lord asked the Prachetas. Yuyam me nripanandana. Sauhardena pratak dharmas, very friendly, very lovingly, all of you cooperated with each other, and then you performed devotional service, not independently, but the same devotional service, all of you executed it together. Apratak dharmas. Pratak means separate. Apratak means non-separated. Same. Same dharma, devotional service together. So tushtoham sauhridenava. So I am completely satisfied with your friendly relationship with each other. So, we don't see Lord Vishnu who appeared in front of the Prachetas on his Garuda. It is said the Lord flew on Garuda and he appeared in the water. You can imagine. We may think bird can only fly in the sky. No, Garuda can fly even in the water. So that's how the Lord appeared in front of the Prachetas. They were very, very deep to the bottom of the sea. That is where they meditated for 10,000 years. They were great souls. They were not ordinary souls. They were the sons of Prachina Barhi, who is also a great soul coming in the line of Prithu Maharaj, who appeared in the line of Dhruva Maharaj, who came in the dynasty of Uttanapada, who was the son of Swayambhumanu. Yeah. So the Prachetas, they had rendered a devotional service together. Very interesting, when Lord Vishnu appeared in front of them, he did not tell, I am very happy with your devotional service. He did not tell them, I am very happy with your austerities that you performed for 10,000 years. without, eating, drinking, or, anything else. With one pointed determination, you have worshipped me. He didn't say any of that. He simply said, I am so happy with your friendly relationship between each other and you execute a devotional service. Yes, devotional service, yes. But together you have cooperated very friendly, in a friendly way, and you have executed. That has pleased me. So the Lord was very pleased that, a group of devotees came together and executed devotional service. That also shows that how difficult it is for a group of devotees to come together and lovingly inspiring each other render devotional service. So he says Bhadrambo, all auspiciousness. And so in today's verse, the Lord is telling that anybody who remembers your devotional service, the prachetas, the 10 prachetas, every day, who remembers this, pracheta upakhyan in Bhagavatam, 4th canto, they will automatically become very friendly with their brothers and with all the living entities. It's very important that, we are very loving and friendly to all the jivas. That is integral part of devotional service. It is not separate from devotional service. It is very much part of devotional service. In fact, all the devotees, they pray for it. Parikshit Maharaj prays when he came to know that he was cursed. Then he actually prayed that punascha bhuyat bhagavatyanante ratim prasanga tadashrayeshu mahatsu yamyam upayami srishtim maitryastu sarvatra namo dvijayabhyam. So Parikshit said, punascha bhuyat, if I have to ever come back again, bhagavatyanante ratim, I want devotional service or rati or love for the Supreme Lord. I pray, not want, or he's not demanding, but he's praying. I pray that I should get devotional service. I should have love and attachment for the Supreme Lord. And the second thing, he demands for three things. And the second thing he asks is Tadashrayeshu. He needs the association of the devotees of the Supreme Lord. Without association, there is no meaning to devotional service. That is the second thing. So punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante ratim prasangat tadashreshu mahatsu yamyam upayami srishtim maitriyastu sarvatra namo vijayabhya. To Mahapurushas, he asked for association. And the third thing he asked is for maitriyastu sarvatra namo vijayabhya. I should have friendly friendly relationship with all the living entities. I should not offend anybody. I should not envy anyone, because he was feeling himself, he was lamenting that he had offended Shamik Rishi, because of which Hirangi cursed him. But in reality, Parikshit Maharaj was not at all an offender. It was the supreme will of the Lord that he had to act in a particular situation in such a way that Srimad Bhagavatam can be revealed to the entire mankind who will take shelter of it in the age of Kali. So that was the main purpose with which, all this was orchestrated by the Supreme Lord himself. And Parikshit was just a patra. He was just an instrument in that plan. But out of humility, although Parikshit, is a great Mahabhagavat, out of humility, he thought that I'm an offender of Shamik Rishi. I'm a great offender. I need to be punished. So that way he was praying that, if at all I have to come back again, my Lord, I need these three things: devotional service unto your lotus feet, association of great Mahabhagavats, and the third thing is to have a friendly attitude or a friendly disposition towards all the other living entities in this world. So that is very important. Without seeing the presence of the Lord in each of the living entities or in each and every atom, it's not possible for one to advance in devotional service. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति. साधवो हृदयं मह्यं साधूनां हृदयं त्वां मदन्यतेन जानन्ति नाहं तेभ्यो मनागपि. So they see the Lord everywhere. They see the presence of the Lord in everything, in every activity, in every situation, in everybody's heart, in every atom. They do not see any differentiation. They don't see two things. They see only the presence of the Lord. That is why they are sadhavo hridayam mahyam. The sadhus have me in their heart. And sadhunam hridayam tvam. And the sadhus are always in the heart of the Supreme Lord. So madanyatena jananti naham tebhyo managapi. I do not know anyone other than them, and they do not know anyone other than me. So this was a statement by Lord Vishnu to Durvasa when he goes there. So he makes this statement. How the sadhus are always seeing the Lord everywhere in everything. They're very friendly, they're very loving. They do not envy anybody. They're very friendly. Even those who are envious also, they are those who are in Uttamadhikari platform. They do not see any discrimination. They don't make any discrimination between enemy and friend, envious. Somebody who's in a Madhyam platform or who's in the Kanishta, he may discriminate. But an advanced sadhu, he does not discriminate. सर्वभूतानि यः पश्येत् भगवद्भावमात्मनः भूतानि भगवते आत्मनि एष भागवतोत्तम. So who is a Bhagavata Uttama? Uttama Bhagavat or Uttama Adhikari? Who is that? Sarvabhutani yaha pashyet Bhagavad Bhavamatmana. He sees all the living entities are already present within the Supreme Lord. Bhutani Bhagavate Atmani Yesha Bhagavatottama. Bhagavad Bhavamatman Bhutani Bhagavate Atmani. And he sees the presence of the Lord in the hearts of all the living entities. So there is no difference. He does not see anything different from the Supreme Lord. So the Lord is always present everywhere and in everything. And everything is moving, orchestrated. Sthavara Jangama Dekhi na dekhi Thar Murti. Sarvatra hoy Nija Ishta Spuhurti. So in Sthavara and Jangama, in living and non-living, he always sees the presence of the Lord. Ishtadev, he sees his Ishta in each and everything. So he does not see anything different from the Lord. So that is why it is very important that we have this friendly and loving relationship with all the living entities. Most important. In the Bhagavatam, Bhagavan Kapila also tells Devahuti that Tikshavaha Karunikaha Suhrada Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatrava Shanta Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. There also we hear Titikshavaha, tolerance, Karunikaha, mercy or daya. Suhrada Sarvadehina. One should be very friendly to all the living entities. These are the sadhus bhushana. These are all the ornaments of the sadhus. And then Brahma also tells Dhruva Maharaj when he becomes very upset and he kills all, he slaughters all the yakshas because they had killed Uttama. That time, Brahma comes to Dhruva and he tells him very almost same as what Kapila said. Titikshaya karunaya maitriya chakila jantushu samatvena cha sarvatma bhagavan samprasidati. So how can the Lord become pleased? How the Lord becomes pleased? Titikshaya, by tolerating. Karunaya, by showing mercy. Maitriya che akila jantushu, by being very friendly to all the living entities. Samatvena cha sarvatma bhagavan samprasidati. So the Lord becomes very happy. He becomes completely, pleased with that devotee who is loving and friendly to all the living entities. Narada also. Actually, after this chapter, when the Prachetas enter the Grihastha ashram, at that time Narada also comes. Narada comes to the Prachetas and Narada tells them, he makes the statement that Dayaya Sarva Bhuteshu Santushtya Yena Kenava Sarvendriya Upashantya Cha Tushatyashu Janardana. If you want to please the Lord quickly, Tushyati Ashu Janardana. Ashu means quick. Tushyati means to please. One should follow this principle of Dayaya Sarvabhuteshu. One should be merciful to all the living entities. And Santushtya Yena Kenava. That is, be satisfied in any position, in whatever situation, whatever position. Santushtya. One should be completely be satisfied. Then Sarvendriya Upashantyacha and control of senses. Then the Lord becomes very happy. Of course, the devotees are controlled in their senses and satisfied in whatever they have. But the most important principle that I wanted to bring here was Dayaya Sarvabhuteshu. Being friendly or merciful to all the living entities. Not seeing any uh, difference between them and the Supreme Lord, because that will be Jiva Aparadh. So the Jivas are non-different from the Supreme Lord. So we should respect them, and they are integral, they are part of the Supreme Lord, and any envy of the Jivas is actually directly envying the Supreme Lord, because the Lord is not separated from the Jivas. So that is why one should be friendly. And here we see Lord is blessing the prachetas, that you all what to speak of prachetas, he is blessing those who are remembering the prachetas. They will all become very friendly with all the living entities. That is a great blessing which the Lord is giving here. So it is not just a benediction to the prachetas, but it is a benediction to all those who will read this pastime of the prachetas in the future, like all of you, who are reading and studying this pracheta pastime here. Okay, so in the 10th verse, the Lord says, Ye tumam rudra gitena samyam pratah samahita. Sorry, sayam pratah samahita. Stuvantyaham kamavaran dasye pragnam cha shobhanam. So, anybody who offers me these prayers by Lord Shiva, like the prachetas who took the prayers from Lord Shiva and they offered it to the Supreme Lord. So, anybody who offers me these prayers composed by Lord Shiva, Rudra Geet, in the morning and the evening, will be given benedictions by me. In this way, they can both fulfill their desires and attain good intelligence. So, no, this is, you can imagine, if you see here, the previous verse and this verse, the actual benediction is for the readers. One may be wondering, then what about prachetas? Did Lord ever benedict them or not? The analogy is, when the Lord is benedicting the readers, one who offers the prayers of Lord Shiva morning and evening, they will attain all their desires and good intelligence. As good intelligence, Prabhupada says, real intelligence is like going back to Godhead. That means to become a pure devotee. When the readers are getting this benediction, what to speak of the prachetas? The prachetas have more than qualified for all these benedictions. They've already received these benedictions. They have definitely gone back to the spiritual world. This is a greater boon that the Lord is benedicting all the readers also. So one can fulfill their desires, material desires, not sense gratificatory desires, but their spiritual desires to serve the Supreme Lord. And of course, the Lord provides facilities of material opulence for those who are completely detached from this world. That is why we see all great kings like Yudhishthir Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, Parikshit, all of them, they had great material opulence, and that was given by the Lord because they were detached. They were not attached to material opulence. And that is unasked for, because for a devotee who renders devotional service, dharmartha kama moksha is automatically obtained. The devotees don't ask for it, nor do they want it, but the Lord gives it because He is so pleased with the devotees. He is so happy with them. he is not satisfied by giving them spiritual world and eternal devotional service. He wants to give them something more. Or he thinks, why should, they only get spiritual benefit of coming back to the spiritual world and then rendering devotional service. That is in the future, but now I want to give them now also. That is the reason why the Lord gives them material opulence also. That we saw in case of Dhruva Maharaj. Although he said, Swamin kritartosme varam na yache. I do not want anything, but still the Lord gave him all material opulence to be ruled for 36,000 years and then also go to the spiritual world. So here Prabhupada is mentioning, I will give them all, fulfill all their desires and also give them good intelligence. Good intelligence means rendering pure devotional service and going back to Godhead. As Prabhupada quotes here, Dadami buddhi yogam tam, I give them the buddhi by which they come to me. Even in Bhagavatam 11th canto also it is said, Krishna varnam dvisha krishnam sangopangasta parshadam yagyai sankirtana prayar yajanti hi sumedasaha. Only the intelligent people take to this process of sankirtana yagya in the age of Kali Yuga. So they are intelligent enough to know that in the age of Kali it is Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam Eva Kevalam. So that is why they take shelter of the Sankirtana Yagya, the movement, the Sankirtana movement. So that also is a mercy of the Lord. The Lord gives them the intelligence. That is why it is only the Lord's mercy that one takes to good intelligence to go back to Him. Very nicely, Prabhupada has clarified this, because somebody may think, oh, the Lord is going to fulfill all my material desires and give me good intelligence. And good intelligence should not be interpreted as becoming some, NASA scientist or some politician or some, like IT engineer. No, that is why Prabhupada is clarifying. Good intelligence means knowing that we are living in asat world, anityam asukham lokam, and go towards the spiritual world, the eternal world. That is good intelligence. Okay, so in this way, those who remember the activities of prachetas will be delivered and blessed, Prabhupada writes. So this is this is parampara system. What to speak of the prachetas themselves? Anybody who follows the prachetas in the parampara system, because we are also getting Bhagavatam in the parampara. So our predecessor acharyas have given us the explanation and interpretation of all this cantos of Bhagavatam. We have interpretation by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as Sarartha Darshini. Then we have interpretation of Jiva Goswami as Krama Sandarbha. Then we have Brihad Vaishnava Toshani, Laghu Vaishnava Toshani. So many interpretations of Bhagavatam by the Acharya. So we are also receiving it in Guru Parampara. Simply by following them, we get the same benefit as the Prachetas received it. So it is foolish to think that only to who the Lord revealed the knowledge, or who faced the Lord face to face, like the Prachetas or like Arjuna faced Lord Krishna, only they are benefited. No, it is wrong. So anybody who follows in the footsteps of the previous devotees, they are also equally benefited. Okay, coming to the 11th one. Yadyuyam pituradesham agrahishta mudanvitah athava ushati kirtir lokan anubhavishyati. Because you have with pleasure accepted within your hearts the orders of your father and have executed those orders very faithfully, your attractive qualities will be celebrated all over the world. They were very obedient to their father, because Prachina Barhi, she wanted his sons, Prachetas, to help in expanding the population in the world. So before entering in the Grihastha life, The Vedic process was to perform austerities. What to speak of before entering? Even after entering Grihastha life also, one should render austerities, perform austerities. Like we hear the story of Kardama and Devahuti. After marriage, immediately, they did not go to honeymoon. They performed austerities for several thousands of years. And then Devahuti became completely emaciated. And then, as a very humble, loving, caring husband, Kardama Muni, realized, oh, because of me, because of serving me, she has undergone so much of austerities and she's become emaciated. So he took very nice care of her, provided all facilities, wonderful aerial mansion, and so many other things. So rendering tapasya is an integral part of a devotional service. We hear the pastime of Sukanya and Chavan Rishi. Chavan Rishi was a very old man. And then, because of a small, unknowing mistake of piercing a straw in an anthill, Chavan Rishi's eye got blinded and he became angry and he wanted to curse her to death. But somehow her father appeared there and he sought forgiveness from the Rishi and he said, I would want to give my daughter in marriage to you so that you are pacified. This is a gift. And then Sukanya did not protest. She didn't say, how can I marry somebody? I should know the person before I marry. Like in the today's world, you should get to know each other for 1 year, 2 year, and then only we marry. Yeah, of course, it may be needed now because the characters are so complicated. So sometimes we have to do that. But in the Vedic culture, she simply accepted, whatever her father said. So she got married to Chavan Rishi, and then she served Chavan Rishi for several thousands of years. There was no question of sense enjoyment after marriage. And then Chavan Rishi was very pleased. Oh, she's a great soul. She has served me so nicely for several thousands of years. And then just to please her, with the help of Ashwini Kumaras, he dipped into a lake and then he came out youthful, young. And Sukanya became so happy. Oh my God, my husband is so great, so powerful mystic, and is handsome now. And in fact, her father became bewildered. He thought that, maybe she was having an affair with somebody else, but she had to clarify, saying, no, it is my own husband. So that way, Chavan Rishi, please. So like that, in Mahabharata, we have the story of Savitri, Satyavan Savitri, who brought her husband back from death, from the clutches of Yamaraj, completely turning around his prarabdha of what time he has to die. She brought him back. That was the power of chastity. So, that way, we see here how the Prachetas had been very obedient to their father. They went on performing austerities before they entered the Grihastha life. And very humbly they took shelter of Lord Shiva, learnt the Rudra Geet, and then they also entered into the bottom of the ocean, performed austerities, friendly with each other. The Lord was very pleased. The Lord appeared because they followed the parampara. They took shelter of the great souls. That is the reason why the Lord was pleased. When we try to independently try to please the Lord without anybody's guidance, without under anybody's shelter, the Lord is not pleased. The Lord is only pleased when we are a devotee of His devotees. ये मे जन पार्थ न मे भक्ताश्च ते जना मद भक्तानाम च ये भक्ता ते मे भक्त तमामता. Those who are the devotees of my devotees, they're very dear to me. So the Prachetas followed that process, and Lord Shiva very nicely guided them to worship Lord Sankarshana. So this is how they attained the audience of the Supreme Lord and got benedicted. And there are many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam about how obedient the sons were. For example, Priyavrata Maharaj. Priyavrata, who was the second son of Swayambhu Manu. He went into austerities. He was performing austerities. He was in the renounced order. He gave up everything. There was no question of he returning back. He had decided, just like other great souls, he was very inspired by the Chatushkumaras and others, that he said, I have nothing to do with this world. He went into performing austerities, never ever to return back. And his guru was Narada. Narada was the one who inspired Prevrat Maharaj. But because Prevratva Maharaj was not there, Uttanapada took over, and Uttanapada and his lineage under Dhruva Maharaj and later on, Anga, Vena, Prithu Maharaj, then Antardhana, Havirdhana, then we have Prachina Barhi, the Prachetas, all the way till Prachetas, everything was being taken care. But there was one particular time when during the Swayambhu Manvantara, which is 72, approximately 71 and a half Chaturyugas, half of the time of the Swayambhu Manvantara, like say you can say approximately 35 Chaturyugas had passed, and then there was no ruler. There was no ruler to take care of the planet Earth. And that is when all, like Brahma, Swayambhu Manu himself, that is Prevrat's father, and Narada, they all appeared. They woke, they brought Prevrat Maharaj out of his deep meditation, and they requested him, please hold on to the reins, please become a king, and continue, ruling over planet Earth, the Bhumandala actually. Planet Earth means Bhumandala, not the planet Earth in the sense the round where we live is called as a Bharatakhanda. It's just, Graha. But when I say planet, the greater planet Earth, is nothing but Bhumandala, the entire Bhumandala, where on which Prevrat Maharaj made 7 concentric circles. So they requested Prevrat, please, come back and rule. Prevrat was completely surprised, shocked. He said, I have taken to the renounced order. I have nothing to do with this world. And in fact, it is because of Narada, by your inspiration, I have taken. But now you are asking me to rule over this entire planet Earth. Then it took great convincing and request by Brahma, great grandfather, his father Swayambhu Manu, and Narada, his spiritual master, to please come, request you to please come. If you are not there, then thieves and rogues will take over this entire Bhumandala. So that is a risk. So please come and rule. So while the Prachetas were meditating before they could have their son, Priyavrata Maharaj was ruling this planet. So the other half of the Swayambhu Manvantara was ruled by Priyavrata. That is how, the Swayambhu Manvantara was ruled by Uttanapad and his lineage, and Priyavrat Maharaj and his lineage. He was very obedient. Priyavrat Maharaj chucked his renounced order just to be obedient to his seniors, father, grandfather, and spiritual master. He is very well known for being very obedient. Bhishma also. Bhishma was so obedient to his father. Because his mother's family expressed fear that, your son will become the future king. He said, I will have nothing to do with it. Then they said, no, you will have a son, he may become. Then he said, I will never marry, then I will have no son. It is a great vow. That's why it is known as Bhishma. Bhishma means a great, a dreading vow where for a Kshatriya to remain celibate is practically impossible. And of course, Kshatriyas in the Varnashram Dharma are not meant to be celibates. They are meant to give shelter not to one. If there are unlimited women who come take shelter of a Kshatriya, he has to marry them and he has to give them shelter and protection. That is a Kshatriya Dharma. So, where a Kshatriya king has, dozens of wives, in such a situation, in this situation, Bhishma decided, forget about having wives, I will not even marry. He took a vow that a brahmachari or what do you call, a brahmana generally takes a vow of celibacy, but a kshatriya here, Bhishma, took that great vow. That's why he's known as Bhishma. And then Parashuram also followed his father. His father said, chop your brothers, chop your mother. He killed all his brothers, he killed his mother. He didn't want to kill them. He was a very, very humble son of his parents, but because his father doubted the chastity of his mother, he ordered his son to kill her. And very unwillingly, he kills her. Then Jamadagni becomes so pleased with him. He asked, ask for any benediction. Immediately he'll ask, I want them to be brought back to life. And I also want them to be not remembering that I killed them. Erase the memory that I killed them. These are the two benedictions he asks his father. His father becomes very pleased. He appreciates his son is so obedient and at the same time so compassionate that, he brought his mother and brothers back to life. So, like that, Parshuram is a great example. Of course, he never showed any compassion when the Kshatriyas didn't follow the Kshatriya dharma of protecting the praja. He slaughtered them 21 times. Yeah, you should know where to show compassion and where to be violent. That's very important in dharma. Then, who else? Prahlad, and of course, Prahlad Maharaj was not obedient in the sense that he followed the orders of his father, but he was obedient in the sense that he tolerated his father. He was very respectful to his father. He didn't criticize him. He didn't, of course, he preached him very strongly, but he respected his father. He did not find fault with him in the sense that he should be destroyed. But when Narasimha asked for benediction, he said, "Please deliver my father." He said, "He's already delivered. Don't worry about that. Even your other generation, 21 generations are already delivered." Then the who else? Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra was most obedient to his father Dasharatha, without a tinge of resentment. Rama immediately, went to the forest, giving up his crown, of becoming the king. So he was most obedient. The only one example where we see a disobedience is um, in the case of the Chatushkumaras, yes. Because Brahma wanted them to become Prajapatis and expand the population in this world, he asked the Chatushkumaras to marry and propagate and procreate, but they refused. That brought anger to Brahma, and from his Bhrukuti, Lord Shiva appeared. But still, that disobedience of the Chatushkumaras is a disobedience for a higher purpose. For a higher purpose, if somebody is disobeying their parent, there's nothing wrong in it. Somebody is taking sannyas and disobeys his parents from entering Grahastha. That is a good disobedience. There's no reaction for it. So the purpose should be higher if at all we plan to disobey. If not, then it is risky. And also we should not declare, what is my higher purpose. Going to America is not higher purpose for which somebody may disobey. We should know spiritual goals, spiritual desires are actually higher purpose for one to disobey. There's also one more example of disobeying, not disobeying, yeah, sort of disobeying, where King Yayati, he asks for his old age to be exchanged by his sons. So he has 5 sons: Kuru, Puru, Yadu, Turvasu, and Druhyu. So actually, in fact, even Yadu also refuses. But Yadu had a higher purpose. He wanted to serve the Supreme Lord. He was a great devotee. The Lord appeared in the family of the Yadu. But it was Puru who accepted the old age of his father, and in return, he gave his youth to his father. So the father was very pleased with him, and he blessed him that, in the future, you will be blessed by the Supreme Lord for pure devotional service, and your lineage will become very famous. So, like that, some sons disobeyed, and of course, Puru was the one who was very obedient to his father, Yayati. There, in that chapter, it is told um, 4 different types of sons or disciples. It is applicable both equally to disciples and sons, 4 types. It says, Chinta. उत्तमश्चिन्तितं कुर्यात् प्रोक्तकारीस्तु मध्यम उत्तमश्चिन्तितं कुर्यात् प्रोक्तकारीस्तु मध्यम fourth one is akarot uccaritam pituhu. What's the third line? Proktakari tu madhyama. Adhama ashraddhaya kuryat. Akarot uccaritam pitu. Yes. So, who is an uttama son or a disciple? Uttamas chintitam kuryat. Whatever, the desire a father or a spiritual master has in his heart, he will not even express it. But the intelligent, he thinks, oh, this is the desire of my father. Let me fulfill it. Even before he's told to do it, he does it. He is the best of the sons of the disciples. Proktakari tu madhyama, whereas a madhyama disciple or a son is one who has to be told, do this or do that. Then, adhamas ashraddhaya kuryat, the lowest grade son or disciple is that who is ashraddhaya kuryat, who has no shraddha, very grudgingly, he performs the duty. Even after being told, he does not want to do it because it is very difficult, cumbersome, or too austere. So very grudgingly he does it because he feels he's being forced to do it. Adamas ashraddhya kuryat. But the fourth one, it is said, akarot uccaritam pituhu. Fourth one does not obey at all. He disobeys. Because he disobeys, he is uccaritam pituhu. It is said that he is like Mutra. Just like Putra and Mutra come from the same region, from the Janendriyas. So that person who obeys is known as a Putra, and the one who does not obey is known as a Mutra. It's just a waste product from the body of the father. Like that. But here we see Prachetas have been very, very obedient. They followed their father, and that is why they were blessed by the Supreme Lord and by great souls like Lord Shiva. Okay, the last verse, Bhavita Vishruta Putro Navamo Brahmano Gunai Etam Atmaviryena Trilokim Purayishyati. So the Lord also blesses them that you will have a very nice son. Consequently, he'll become very famous, and the sons and grandsons generated by him will fill the 3 worlds. So Pramalocha was a society girl. She was an Apsara. She married this Kandu Muni, Kandu Rishi. Kandu was performing austerities. Indra became very disturbed. First half was ruled by Uttanapada, second half by the Priyavrata lineage. Daksha was there that time also. This Daksha Yagya that happened in the Swayambhu Manvantara only. So this Daksha, who was the direct son of Brahma, he was a great offender of Lord Shiva, because of which we all know he got the head of a goat. Even after attaining the head of a goat, even after seeking forgiveness from Lord Shiva, he was so deeply hurt, so deeply hurt, so deeply hurt. Because the nature of false ego is that if we have a very thick false ego, no matter how much humility we try to express, no matter how much humble we want to be, no matter how much we want to be, seeking forgiveness, we are hurt. And we are hurt at the core of our hearts because our false ego is very thick. So that was a problem with Daksha. Although he sought forgiveness and although he was forgiven by Lord Shiva, because his offense was great, his Vaishnava aparadh was so great that he could not overcome it, nor was he able to overcome the insult of having a goat head. So that is why it is said that, he gave up his body. And it is said this time, first time he was a Manasaputra of Lord Brahma. But this time he was born, he had a seminal birth through Marisha, his mother. And he was born as a Kshatriya now. Earlier he had a Brahmana family, and because of the offense, now he got the birth of a Kshatriya. And he was born through the combination of man and woman. Earlier he was a Manasaputra. So this is nothing but degradation. That's what Prabhupada writes in the purport. And this Daksha, he performed austerities for 4 manvantaras. After he was born to the Prachetas, he performed austerities for 4 manvantaras. That is why after Swayambhu Manvantara, there was Shwarochisha, then there was Uttama, Tamasa, Raivata. These are the 3 sons of Priyavrata Maharaj who ruled the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th. Then there was Chakshusha Manvantara. In the beginning of the Chakshusha Manvantara, after 4 Manvantaras austerities, Daksha, he came out of his meditation. He had the vision of the 8-handed form of the Supreme Lord. By the way, the Prachetas also had the 8-handed form of the vision of the 8-handed form of the Lord in the sea. So Daksha also had the 8-handed form vision of the same Supreme Lord. And that is when he praised he praised the Hamsaguhya prayers. And then he starts procreation. He becomes a Prajapati again. Then he has a wife called as Asikni, and she is given by Lord Brahma. And then that is when he procreates, and he again fills the entire world's population in the Chakshusha Manvantara. So this is the second creation which happened. Because sometimes at the end of certain Manvantaras, as in this case, during the 6th Manvantara, there was Pralaya, and then, some things had to be recreated. In the first Manvantara, Swayambhu Manvantara, he had only 16 daughters. But in the Chakshusha Manvantara, he had 60 daughters, 60, where he gave 17 to Kashyapa Rishi and then 27 to the moon god Somadev. So that way he had more daughters. But interestingly, the population expanded through his daughters, not through his sons and grandsons, as this translation is telling. It's ironical that, why his sons and grandsons is mentioned here, because he did create 11,000 sons. 10,000 sons were known as Haryashvas, and later on he created another 1,000 sons called as Shavalashvas. Both these Haryashvas and Shavalashvas, all 11,000, they were delivered by Narada. Narada, simply by asking them a few riddles, few spiritual puzzles, he delivered them. They were so intelligent, so intelligent, so intelligent. Simply by hearing some puzzle questions, they understood what is the goal of life. And they chucked this material world because they had gone to perform austerities. Daksha had sent them to perform austerities before entering Grahastha life so that they can procreate and expand the population. They went with that intention to enter Grahastha life. Then Narada came and said, he spoke a few puzzles and he told them that what is the use of performing these austerities, to go to hell? The same austerities will liberate you from this world. This is how he inspired them. And then they realized, anyway, we are performing austerities. Why get entangled? Let's get liberated. So through puzzles, they decided to give up. And, Taksha was very angry. That's when he thought, let me create girls. When he procreated girls, then Narada wouldn't come close to any women. So that was his secret, and that is how the population expanded. So in one sense, Narada is also serving the Supreme Lord, and the Prajapatis are also serving the Supreme Lord. Sometimes there are difference of opinions, but they all eventually come together, and somehow, the procreation happens and the world continues. Jivas get the opportunity to be embodied in different species, and they get opportunity to do devotional service and get liberated. Yeah, so the Prachetas, as the purport says, Prachetas were the perfect son. Chanakya Pandit Prabhupada is quoting here saying that, what is that? Mata Vyabhicha Rinam Karta Pita Shatru, Mata Shatru Avyabhicharini, Rupavati Bharya Shatru, Sutam Shatru Apanditanam. The one who has a father who has taken loan, Rinam Karta Pita Shatru, he is an enemy. Mata Shatravya Vicharani, unchaste mother is the enemy. Rupavati Bharya Shatru, beautiful wife is an enemy because you have to protect her from everybody. It's a pain and you have to maintain her. Then Sutam Shatru Apanditanam, a foolish, dull, unintelligent son is also an enemy. That's why one should be a good son, a devotee son like the Prachetas, who are very obedient to their parents, to the spiritual master, to the Supreme Lord. And not only do they deliver themselves, they will also deliver those who follow them. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are any questions, comments, criticisms? Most welcome. Hare
Can
Krishna.
I ask one short question, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, even the four Kumaras, were they influenced by Narada Muni not to get married and to go back?
Even
I
the four
I read some
Kumaras?
there. Were the four Kumaras also influenced by Narada Muni not to get married? I
No,
read somewhere.
no. The Chatush Kumaras are elderly to Narada. They were the first to be born to Brahma. Narada came much later.
Okay.
So Chatush Kumaras were self-motivated. They were already, great souls. They didn't wanted to marry. This was during the creation. Narada came much later.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
I
Krishna.
read somewhere like that. That's why I wanted to clarify.
No, because Narada appeared much, much later. So they are elder brothers. So
Yeah,
that is
okay,
why
understood,
Narada
Prabhuji.
cannot preach to an elder brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Uttamaschintitam Kurya. Thank you. Somebody has posted it. Yes.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी
Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Prabhu.
प्रभु जी ಆರಾಮಿದ್ದೀರಿ
Ram Prabhu. ನೀವು ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಸೂಪರ್ ಪ್ರಭು ಜಿ ಪ್ರಭು ಜಿ
Jai.
by
Headi.
hearing bhagavatam class really how sometimes so if you think of our present stage and all these things so so anyhow we have stepped in a wrong way I feel sometimes prabhuji we have stepped in a wrong way. So we are without realizing all those things. So if we are reading all these shastras, so how they were explaining us to do. So to get a good son, and then how he has to discharge his duties. To what extent I myself discharge my duty to my parents. So those are all questions were coming often and often. So
Correct.
what a beautiful analogy is given in the Bhagavatam. Now, what
Exactly.
is in Bhagavatam, what not in Bhagavatam? So, Prabhuji, this is no miracle scripture, Prabhuji.
Bhagavatam has everything.
Prabhuji.
It has
So it
everything.
is, so if
Spiritual
you,
knowledge,
yes,
material knowledge,
yes,
varnashrama knowledge, dharma knowledge, everything is there. Yes.
Prabhuji, and then we have to much thankful to Srila Prabhupada.
Correct.
As because he has unfolded everything to understand like ordinary people we are not aware of anything else. I personally I don't know ABCD about all these things. By hearing regularly Bhagavatam, really it is enlightening us.
Excellent.
Morning in Leelamrita class was going on in morning, Prabhu, 7th Bhakti Kutir. So it is last days of this, how he is reciprocating the devotees to render the responsibilities in ISKCON. So that is the last days. Whereas Prabhupada in Vrindavan, how Tamal Krishna and then as devotees, how they were how dedicated they have rendered their services. By hearing all these things, Prabhuji, so Prabhupada is not an ordinary person. He is not at all an ordinary person, Prabhuji. He is
200% correct. Yeah.
Prabhuji is a personality, Prabhuji, to be frank with you. So he is
Correct.
influencing us to hear Bhagavatam, and we are all blessed, Prabhuji. Like you people, you are coming often and often and educating us to be in Krishna conscious. It is not possible for me particularly falling down. Once I am thinking I must not fall down. Now it is so very, very strong. It won't gives us, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams for giving a beautiful analogy. And then I am grateful to you, Prabhuji, all senior devotees. Dandavat
You have,
Pranams, Prabhuji.
thank you, Prabhu. You have a very grateful heart. So I'm very happy to hear that. I pray that I have a grateful heart like yours. Very nicely put across. Yeah. Unless we don't have this gratitude, there's no question of advancing also in spiritual life. So very important. We should know the sacrifices done by our predecessor acharyas, the spiritual master, the current contemporary spiritual masters, Vaishnavas. They have it's great fortune. It's great fortune to be having all these blessings.
Prabhuji, Kali Yuga has changed so much, Prabhuji. A lot of things are not practical. You cannot practice in this Kali Yuga.
For
Certain
example,
things, okay.
Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhuji, that I can't tell you, but so much. Every day we are learning. Certain things are very, very difficult. Yes, we try our best, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Chanting Brahma Muhurta, listening to classes, associating with devotees, taking in all the good things. But there are a lot of other things also which are not practical because of the yugas. Times have changed so much.
Yeah. But yes,
Hare
we at
Krishna.
least bare minimum for the age of Kali Yuga, we can follow like following the four principles of Dharma is
Yeah,
very
we are doing all that. Yes, Prabhuji. Being humble, being honest, we are practicing all that, Prabhuji. But there's a lot of things beyond, and beyond.
Yeah,
It's
that is
not
right.
possible at all.
True. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Hare
It was a
Krishna,
very,
Dandavat Prabhuji.
very, very, very eye-opening session, as other Prabhuji told. And I have a general question for my daily Shraddha. Prabhuji, in my office, people are really supporting all the Krishna conscious things that I do, initiate and do some small book distribution and other things during Krishna Jayanti, and other things which I do, perform kirtans and do pujas and all. But one fine day, I started just telling all small things which I learned to them. But one of the person who is very much inclined to Brahman realization, that he says that he is very much inclined to the light kind of thing, and he says it's formless. So should I think that he's a Mayavadi and I should not talk to him or something, or should I stop discussing about Casey to him? I'm so doubtful because he's a senior person. I need to report daily.
So the thing is, you don't have to distance away from him. You can continue to give him prasadam. You can continue to give him small books of Prabhupada. Rather than we doing the preaching, we should allow Prabhupada to do the preaching by giving him small books. So that way, slowly, he will change. Because if you are capable enough to, you know, preach what is Mayavadism, if you are yourself convinced thoroughly with scriptural references, you can do it. But generally, not everybody is, capable to do that. That is why they say that one should be very far away from the Mayavadis. Because Mayavada bhashya shunile hoy sarvanash. So we should not take their association. Take their association means we should not be eager to listen to their philosophy and try and, have argument and all of that. Best policy is to give them prasadam and give them small books of Srila Prabhupada. Small books are meant for this only. Small books have their own glory. Sometimes we see, devotees are pushing for Bhagavatam, some devotees are pushing for, okay, even Bhagavad Gita is also, but directly pushing Bhagavatam to the new people, they will not be able to appreciate. But these small books are also equally powerful. Those who are not at all inclined towards, trying to read about the Supreme Lord, the personal form of the Lord, or, Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti. For such people, these smaller books of Prabhupada, it'll work. So even one page they read somehow, there can be a transformation in their heart. We leave that to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada will do the preaching. We can give them prasadam. We can have friendly, good relationships. Only thing is we have to avoid hearing their philosophy. That's what we should take care of. That way we don't take their association, but we only give them our association.
Hari Bol, Dandavats Prabhuji. Yeah, I'm daily sharing a few purports alone without shlokas. I'm just sharing the purports alone so that he's reciprocating his views.
Okay.
So that, as you say, I'll just share the small bits, Prabhuji.
Very
I
good.
don't teach anything from my side. I just share
Yeah.
from Prabhupada. Thank you,
Right.
Prabhuji. Thanks.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Anybody else?
No, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was a
All right.
wonderful session, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Will close here.
Yes, Prabhuji. Vancha
Kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki
jai.
jai. Srimad
Prabhupada
Bhagavatam
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you,
Jai
Prabhuji.
Guru
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandat
Krishna,
Pranam.
Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam.
So
Thank
much
you,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
Dandat Pranams. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, with your permission, end the meeting, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.